Good morning. Today we'll be discussing with respect to Panchayati Raj. So for any examination, every examination, Panchayati Raj is really a very important concept. But whatever the Panchayati Raj we are going to speak now, that Panchayati Raj now it is a part of our constitution. Originally, Panchayati Raj was not mentioned in the constitution, but over a period of time, depending on the necessity, Panchayati Raj has been made a constitutional body. So through the 73rd Amendment. So we know how to amend the constitution. So by using that procedure, this through 73rd Amendment, Panchayati Raj has been added to the Constitution of India. So now it is present in Schedule number 11. So Schedule number 11 mentions about the Panchayati Raj. So, but before we come to the constitutional part of Panchayati Raj, let's try to understand what exactly is the concept of this Panchayati Raj. See, basically, what happens if you look at the Constitution of India, you have an article called Article number 40. Article number 40 mentions about the establishment of village panchayats. But kindly remember, this article number 40 is a part of directive principles of a state policy. As we all know, DPSP is mentioned under part number 4 of the Indian Constitution. Whenever we speak about the DPSP, they are non-justiciable. So meaning, so this is DPSP are the functions of the government, and the government will be performing these functions with respect to its convenience. You cannot force the government to perform this function compulsorily. So that is the basic idea of the DPSP. So meaning, if you look at the concept of village panchayat, so this is nothing but establishing a government at the village level. Otherwise, in India, we have central government and we also have the state governments. So meaning, in the beginning, we have two types of governments. One is the central government, second one is the state government, and today you also have a government at the third level. So that is the reason why. So we have three-tier government in India. So meaning, so one is the central government, second one is the state government, and third one is the local self-government. But what exactly is this local self-government? Kindly see here, whenever I say local self-government, again it is divided into two concepts. One is the rural local self-government. Second one is the urban local self-government. Whenever I say rural local self-government, I am talking about Panchayati Raj. Whenever I say urban local self-government, I am mentioning about the municipalities, municipal corporations, nagar panchayats. So they will be coming under the urban local bodies. So in this particular class, we'll be discussing exclusively about local level. Basically, what happens when it comes to the village panchayat? So this is the basic idea of Mahatma Gandhi. According to Gandhi, India lives in rural areas, meaning without developing villages, India cannot be developed. So that is the basic idea of Mahatma Gandhi. And even today also, larger amounts of the food grains, whatever we are getting, everything is coming from the rural areas. So how do you develop these villages? Villages can be developed by creating a structure at the village level. Villages can be created by creating, a government at the village level. Meaning, the problems of the people who are living in the rural areas must be addressed there itself. They need not come to the state government. They need not come to the central government. You create a mechanism where these problems can be addressed there itself. Clear? For this reason, you have to develop this. You have to develop the these villages. For this reason, you have to create a structure at the village level that is called the village panchayat. But what is the basic purpose? The basic purpose purpose is the development of the village. What do you mean by development? So whenever I say development, this is always holistic in concept. So this is always holistic in nature, meaning for every village I require safe drinking water. For every village, I require electricity. I require transportation. So for this reason, there must be roads properly, and I need to have the communication system, meaning this is a telephone system. Other systems must be there. At the same time, I need to have the education. For that purpose, I need to have schools at the village level, and I also need to take care of the health of the people. So for this reason, medical system should also be available in the form of establishing the hospitals at the village level, right? For the purpose of agriculture, so I need to have the water, hence I require the irrigation facilities like this. So whenever I speak about the development is always a holistic concept. If I just lay the roads in the this village, I cannot call that as a development. Clear? Then who will give me the education, who will give me the health? That's the reason why development is always holistic in nature, and that development is possible. So when you involve the people in the process of the development, and that is possible through the democratic decentralization, that is nothing but the Panchayati Raj. Whenever I say democratic decentralization, we India is a democracy, we know that. But in India, what is happening? You are giving the powers to someone, and those people will be sitting in the parliament and the state legislatures, and they are taking the decisions. But in the democratic decentralization, you are giving the powers directly to the people at the village level. Hence, in every decision making, people will also take part. This is called the democratic decentralization. Until and unless people are not permitted to involve in the process of the development, the real development is not possible. That is the reason why people should be made part of the decision making. So this is the basic idea of the democratic decentralization. But the point is that when exactly we have started this process? So we started this procedure, so immediately after, this we got the independence. But otherwise, kindly remember, so the governments in the rural areas, clear, and the concept of this development is not at all a new concept. But there was a complete negligence during this British rule or during this ancient India time. But I am talking about the concept of Panchayati Raj, which has been developed after India got independence and after the commencement of the constitution, right? So we got independence in 1947, and we commenced our constitution in the year 1950, and that is the beginning of the, you need to take certain steps for the development of the nation. For this reason, right, so as we all know, in the year 1950, planning commission has been created, and the first 5-year plan has been launched in the year 1951. We know that. So next thing is that, so now you need to focus on this rural development. So how is it possible? Obviously you need to design a scheme, and that scheme was called community development program. So hence, in the year 1952, Government of India has launched a program called CDP, Community Development Program. And this program was launched on October 2nd. So this program was launched on October 2nd, 1952. 1952, generally in India, so we most of the rural schemes are launched on the birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi, father of the nation. And CDP has been launched on October 2nd, 1952. That is the beginning. So with the idea of developing the rural areas, so this program has been launched. But kindly remember, development is possible only by spending the money. So if you look at India today, we have more than 6 lakh villages in India, and every village has to be developed. Then only that is called the real development. I'll just tell you the basic idea. One thing, India, as of today, so we have 29 states and 7 union territories, and every state is divided into districts. and every district is divided into mandals, and every mandal is divided into village, right? Villages. So meaning group of villages put together is called the mandal. That is the reason why village has been taken as the basic unit for the development. Then obviously what happens, so from the highest level you are coming to the lowest level and concentrate on the development of the village, and each village has to be developed separately. The moment all the villages in the country have been developed by using the same concept what I told you earlier, if all the villages are developed, I can say mandals are developed. If all the mandals are developed, all the districts in the country are developed. All the districts are developed means all the states are developed. If all the states are developed, then I can say India is a developed nation. So this is the concept that has been given by Mahatma Gandhi. Clear, that's the point number one. Next, point number two. So whenever you go for any developmental concept, you have to spend money. Without spending money, development is not possible. This is one criteria, please remember. And how do you decide whether the program has been, this implemented properly or not? So for this reason, what happens? If you spend money and if you implement a program, so throughout the country, then obviously what will happen? Tomorrow that program may be a successful program or it may be a failure. The program may be a success or the program may be a failure. But what do you mean by success or failure? Whenever I say success, if the people in that area are accepting that particular program because they are getting benefited out of that, because they are getting benefits out of that, they will be accepting. If the people are accepting, that is considered to be a successful program, otherwise it's a failure. Clear? For example, see here, so example is you take any movie, any cinema, so many cinemas are there, clear, in the country. So many cinemas are, these movies are being released, but every movie is not a big hit. Why? It is because so few movies are accepted by the people, so because they enjoy, and we tell others they will also go. So that is the reason why, so that particular movie will become a successful one. And some movies, some people don't go at all. It is because, there is nothing, like there is no story, no concept, nothing, no action, nothing. Obviously those movies are considered to be failures. That is the reason why whether a program is a successful program or not will depend on the acceptance of the people. Hence every program has to be aimed at providing the, this betterment for the people of the country. So that is the basic idea. So hence what happens, instead of implementing community development program throughout the country, government decided to launch this CDP on pilot basis. Pilot basis in the sense, trial basis. Trial basis in the sense, implement the program in few areas. Select a few villages, implement this program, and watch for a period of time and watch its progress, whether the people are accepting or not. So then you can come to a conclusion, this particular pilot project is a successful one or not. If it is a successful one, then extend the program and implement the program throughout the country for the betterment of all the people. If it is not a successful one, then stop it immediately, so that at least you can stop the, this future expenditure. So otherwise it will become unnecessary expenditure. Am I clear? That is the reason why the basic point is that CDP has been launched on, this pilot basis. During that time, few villages in South India, few villages in, North India, so they have been selected, and the community development program has been launched in the selected villages. And after a period of time, the government went for the verification, and the government came to know that the people are accepting, hence it is considered to be a success. And very next year, on October 2nd 1953, on October 2nd 1953, the government has extended the program throughout the country on the name of National Extension Service. Am I clear? Community Development Program, October 2nd 1952, National Extension Service on October 2nd, 1953. Right, so like this, the programs have been implemented. Kindly remember, I am talking about 1950, 51, 52, and 53. India was a just born country. Government was new, administration was new, everything is new. And apart from this, there were multiple problems that India was facing. And amidst of all these things, the government wanted to go for the development, because you need to go for it. Otherwise, the people, this is struggle a lot. So that is the reason why this program has been launched, and that has been extended on the name of the National Extension Service. And that is considered to be the beginning, that is considered to be the beginning of the this concept of this community development program. But kindly remember, community development program. Development, I told you already. Program is a policy. You are making certain, this mechanism to develop. And whenever I say community, community is nothing but a village. Village is a place where group of people are living together. So that is called the village development program. But the actual name that is used by the government is the community development program. So in the examination, you are expected to write the same name, community development program. But kindly remember, community development program or CDP. In various examinations I have seen, instead of using these three words completely, so they have used even the abbreviations like CDP. So you should be able to remember this. Okay, in the examination while you are writing the answer, so you can just mention CDP also, there is nothing wrong. Okay, next. So I'll just show you the document now. So from here, I'll show you the document, then we'll go for the further discussion. Look at this. Article 40, the state the state shall take steps to organize village panchayats and endow them with such powers and authority as may be necessary to enable them to function as units of self-government. So this is the article number 40. Please remember, Article 40, whenever you are writing about Panchayati Raj, please mention Article 40, right? And Article 40 was also a question in the objective type of exams many times. And second point, the government has launched community development program in the year 1952, and the government has launched National Extension Service in the year 1953. So in the examination, you have to mention the program, you have to mention the year correctly. Next. Right. So now let's go into the details of this. So CDP has been launched. National Extension Service has also been launched over. And these programs were considered to be a successful program. Just because a program is successful today, I cannot expect that the program will be successful in future also. Because with whatever may be the purpose you have designed a program, so once the purpose is served, so there is no necessity of that program, or you need to modify this program for providing much better facilities to the people. That is the reason why a program has to be revised, periodically. That is the reason why government wanted to understand how exactly this CDP and NES are being implemented. Hence, in the year 1957, the government has appointed a committee. Committee means group of people headed by a chairman. And that committee, whenever you appoint any committee for any purpose, the purpose of the committee is to look into the purpose why it has been appointed, and it will try to study the whole concept, understand the whole concept. Accordingly, it will also give the recommendations to the government regarding what can be done further. And kindly remember, the recommendations of these committees are not binding in nature. Ultimate decision will be taken by the government, but committees will extend its helping hand to the government, because for everything I cannot ask the prime minister, ministers, or the chief minister, or the ministers at the state level so to look into these issues. Hence, experts will be appointed into these committees, and it will become easy for them to analyze the situations. Accordingly, they will be giving the recommendations. Kindly remember, a committee's recommendations need not be accepted, and the committees are always advisory in nature. So please remember this. So next, what happened? This in the year 1957, government appointed a committee called Balwantarai Mehta Committee. So this is also called, B.R. Mehta Committee. And the purpose of this B.R. Mehta Committee is to look into the functioning of CDP and NES. Kindly remember, first CDP has been launched, followed by NES, and in the year 1957, Balwantarai Mehta Committee has been appointed to look into the functioning of this, the progress of the CDP and NES. Accordingly, it can submit the report. And it submitted the report to the government, and the Balwantarai Mehta has recommended for the creation of the Panchayati Raj system. It recommended for creation and establishment of a three-tier Panchayati Raj structure in India. When I say three-tier Panchayati Raj, kindly remember, don't forget, when I say Panchayati Raj, I am talking about rural local self-government. For this reason, you need to create a three-tier structure. This three-tier structure is the Zilla Parishad at the district level, Mandal Panchayat at the Mandal level. So previously it was called, this block. And third one is the village Panchayat at the village level. Right? Zilla Parishad, Mandal Panchayat, and the village Panchayat. So these three levels have to be created according to the recommendations that are given by, Balwantarai Mehta Committee. And in the year 1958, National Development Council has accepted the recommendations of this Balwantarai Mehta Committee. And in the year 1959, for the first time, we have implemented the recommendations of Balwantarai Mehta Committee, and Rajasthan became the first state in the country so to create three-tier structure of Panchayati Raj. And it happened on October 2nd, 1959. Kindly remember, Rajasthan is the first state to create the three-tier structure Panchayati Raj, which was recommended by Balwantarai Mehta Committee. Clear. Immediately, it was followed by Andhra Pradesh on November 1st, 1959. Right, first October 2nd, 1959, Rajasthan. November 1st, 1959, by this Andhra Pradesh. So later, other states, like this West Bengal, this Tamil Nadu. So various states have created the structures. But kindly remember, whatever the recommendations that are given by this Balwantarai Mehta Committee, so they don't have any statutory status. They don't have any constitutional status. But the states were given free hand, for implementing the Panchayati Raj according to their convenience. That's the reason why some states they have introduced a three-tier structure, and some states they have introduced the four-tier structure also. And some states went for the two-tier structure, meaning in the beginning there was no uniformity in the country with respect to the structure of the Panchayati Raj, and that was completely left to the discretion of the government at the state level. So states were given the free hand. So that is the reason why in the year 1959 the Panchayat Raj was instituted. The Panchayat Raj has been constituted. So some states went for 3 tier, some states went for 4 tier, some states went for 2 tier. Like this, without any uniformity in the country, they have started moving. Kindly remember, I told you earlier also, in order to go for the developmental activities, you need to spend the money. But where is the money? First of all, there is no money for this Panchayat Raj system, and they depended only on the funds that are given by the central government and also the state governments. Central government and state government can give the money for the development of the Panchayati Raj whenever they have the money. But if you look at India, 1959, I'm talking about. So immediately after that, in the year 1962, there was a war with China. Immediately followed by war with Pakistan in the year 1965. Immediately followed by another war with Pakistan in the year 1971, and coupled with the this failure of the monsoons. The reasons are plenty, and the concept of Panchayati Raj was thoroughly neglected. And today, if you look at Panchayati Raj, periodically we are conducting elections to the Panchayati Raj. Just like Lok Sabha elections and assembly elections, Panchayati Raj elections are also conducted every 5 years today. And today, I have a state election commission at the state level exclusively for conducting the elections to the local government bodies. So, but such concept was not there, and who should conduct the elections was decided by the state government during that time. How long the Panchayati Raj will continue, that also depended extremely on the decision that is taken by the state government. So these are all the, this lacunae, the loopholes that are present in the whole system. That is the reason why in the beginning Panchayati Raj was not a successful one. And this continued further. In the year 1977, for the first time, non-Congress party government came to the power. For the first time in India, in the year 1977, Janata Party came to the power. A non-Congress party person became the Prime Minister of India. It was, Morarji Desai. After he comes to the power, see here I am talking about 1959, and I have moved up to the year 1977. In the year 19, in the after this Morarji Desai became the Prime Minister of India, he appointed another committee called Ashok Mehta Committee. 1957, it was the Balwantrai Mehta Committee. And that committee was appointed to look into the functioning of the CDP and NES. Accordingly, this they were implemented, and B.R. Mehta recommended for the establishment of 3-tier structure Panchayati Raj, and that continued further. So later, 1977, Ashok Mehta Committee has been appointed to look into the functioning of the 3-tier structure Panchayati Raj. And the committee has submitted the recommendations, and I'll show you the recommendations now. One of the important recommendations is that Ashok Mehta Committee has recommended for the creation of the 2-tier structure Panchayati Raj. Balwantrai Mehta Committee recommended 3-tier structure. Ashok Mehta Committee recommended 2-tier structure. But at the time, none of the recommendations. Ashok Mehta has submitted 132 recommendations to the government, but none of the recommendations were implemented during that time, because there was a complete instability at the central level. And Morarji Desai, in the mid of 1979, so he had to submit the resignation letter. Chaudhary Charan Singh became the Prime Minister of India, and at the end of the year, there was a dissolution of the Lok Sabha. Fresh elections were conducted, and Srimati Indira Gandhi became the Prime Minister of India in the beginning of this 1980. And later, what happened? Because of the various reasons, this particular Ashok Mehta Committee recommendations were not looked into, and finally Rajiv Gandhi became the Prime Minister of India in the year 1984. And later, so again elections were conducted, and he became the Prime Minister once again. And during that time, so he appointed a committee called GVK Rao Committee. That GVK Rao Committee also recommended for strengthening the Panchayati Raj system by infusing more funds into that. Later in the year 1986, L.M. Singhvi committee has been appointed. This is a very, very, very important committee with respect to the Panchayati Raj system today. It is because L.M. Singhvi committee is the first committee that recommended for the constitutional protection for the Panchayati Raj. Until and unless you provide constitutional status to the Panchayati Raj, protection cannot be given to the Panchayati Raj properly. You cannot leave the Panchayati Raj to depend on the mercy of the governments. You have to give the protection. You have to give some strength to the Panchayati Raj system so that it can survive on its own. That is the basic idea with respect to Panchayati Raj. And the constitutional status was recommended by L.M. Singhvi committee. Right? So accordingly, the work was done. Accordingly, the work was done. And when Rajiv Gandhi was the prime minister, during that time 1989, for the first time an attempt was made to provide constitutional status to the Panchayati Raj in the form of the 64th amendment bill. 64th constitution amendment bill. You know what is a constitution amendment bill? That can be introduced in either of the houses of the parliament. It can be introduced either in the Lok Sabha or in the Rajya Sabha. And with respect to 64th Amendment Bill, it was introduced in the Lok Sabha, and every constitution amendment bill has to be passed by the special majority. And Rajiv Gandhi has got a huge majority in the Lok Sabha. It was a cakewalk for him so to push the bill through the Lok Sabha. And the bill has been passed through the Lok Sabha, and then it went to the Rajya Sabha. But unfortunately, Rajya Sabha has rejected the 64th constitutional amendment bill. What happens if Rajya Sabha rejects the constitutional amendment bill? If any constitutional amendment bill is rejected by the second house, that is considered to be a deadlock. But in the case of a deadlock with respect to the constitutional amendment bill, there is no provision of the joint session. I repeat, with respect to the constitutional amendment bill, there is no provision of the joint session of the parliament. Clear? Joint session is permitted only for the ordinary bills, not for the money bills, not for the constitutional amendment bills. That's the reason why, though the bill was passed by the Lok Sabha, since it was rejected by the Rajya Sabha, the bill is considered to be rejected altogether. Okay, so kindly recollect the points that are related to the Constitution Amendment Bill. Okay, so meaning the first attempt that was made by a Prime Minister of India, that was, Shri Rajiv Gandhi, right? That was a failure. And later in the year 1989, elections were conducted. Elections were conducted to the Lok Sabha, and Congress party has lost the majority in the Lok Sabha, so it lost the power. So during that times here, when the elections were conducted in 1984, Rajiv Gandhi, meaning Congress party, has got more than 400 seats in the Lok Sabha, highest ever. And from more than 400, that has been reduced to mere 197. Of course, Congress party was the single largest party in the Lok Sabha. Though the president invited Congress party to form the government, Rajiv Gandhi refused to form the government because he did not have the numbers. So during the time, Vishwanath Pratap Singh, VP Singh, became the Prime Minister of India, and he continued for a period of time. And immediately after that, Mr. Chandrasekhar became the Prime Minister. And both put together, they served around 2 years. Right, first it was Vishwanath Pratap Singh, immediately followed by Chandrasekhar, and again the government has collapsed, and there were inevitable elections in the year 1991. 1989 elections, 1991, again the elections were conducted, and within this short period, so we have seen two prime ministers. So two prime ministers, Vishwanath Pratap Singh, followed by Chandrasekhar. In the year 1991, elections were conducted, and unfortunately, during the election campaign, Rajiv Gandhi was assassinated on May 21st, 1991, and that was the time PV Narasimha Rao had to become the Prime Minister of India. And after he becomes the Prime Minister, so he introduced the again this 73rd Constitution Amendment Bill, which is meant for providing the constitutional status to the Panchayati Raj. But before I tell you this one, I want to tell you why Rajya Sabha has rejected the 64th Constitutional Amendment Bill. What was the problem for the Rajya Sabha? The problem is like this. India is a federation. India is a federation. You know the meaning of this. That is nothing but division of the powers between central government and the state governments. So now, so when I say, this federation, this is the concept. So whenever you create a Panchayat Raj structure under the constitution, that structure will be created and established in the states. Obviously, you need to create the structure at the district level, mandal level, and the village level. Clear? And for this reason, so you have to, this send the money. Now, so one of the proposals in this 64th Amendment Bill is that whatever the money that is sent from by the state, by the central government to the Panchayati Raj, that will be directly going to the Panchayati Raj institutions, bypassing the state governments, central government, state government, local self government. And the central government wanted to send the money directly to the Panchayati Raj bodies by ignoring the state governments. And obviously, so this is an insult to the states. So you are creating a structure in our states and you want to send money directly to that structure by ignoring us. Then what is the control we can exercise on the Panchayat Raj bodies? That is the reason why Rajya Sabha has not accepted. What is the other name for Rajya Sabha? Council of States. Okay, Rajya Sabha will represent the interest of the states. Hence, Rajya Sabha has rejected this 64th Amendment Bill. That is the reason why it could not become a reality. Later, after PV Narasimha Rao became the Prime Minister of India, he introduced the 73rd Constitution Amendment Bill, and whatever the problematic provisions that were present in the 64th Amendment Bill, they were removed. So they were removed, and the new bill, that is the 73rd Constitutional Amendment Bill, it made it very, very clear that everything will be passing only through the states, and the states will also exercise the control on the, local level bodies. And because these problematic provisions have been deleted, and 73rd Constitutional Amendment Bill, so it passed through both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, so very, very smoothly. The bill was introduced in the year 1991, and the bill was passed by both the houses of the parliament in 1992. Later, what happens? Now, once a bill has been passed by Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, that bill should go to the so-called the President of India for his assent. But here, we have a provision in the Constitution under Article number 368. So anything with respect to the Constitution, whenever you are amending, whenever it is referring to the federal provisions means you are involving both the central government and state governments. So during that time, the state's consent is also a must. Clear? Very, very important. So you cannot just pass through only Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha and the President, because the federal provisions are also involved. After the process is initiated in the Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, before you go to the President of India, send it to the consent of the state legislatures. Every state legislature need not accept, but at least half the state legislatures must accept. At least half the state legislatures must ratify with a simple majority. Special majority in the parliament, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and simple majority in the so-called state legislatures. right? All the states need not give their consent. At least half the state legislatures, at least not less than half of the state legislatures, if they ratify, then that will be forwarded to the President of India. Since it is a constitutional amendment bill, President has no right to send it back. President has no right to send it back for the reconsideration, and the president must sign, and the bill becomes a, this law. That is an act. So this process started here like this. In the year 1991, 73rd Constitution Amendment Bill was introduced in the Lok Sabha, and the bill was passed on December 22nd. December 22nd, 1992 in the Lok Sabha. Very next day it was passed by the Rajya Sabha, that is December 23rd. Later it was sent to the states, and the states have given their consent and finally reached the Rashtrapati Bhavan, and the president gave consent on April 20th, 1993, and exactly after 4 days, that is on April 24th, 1993. So this act has been, this published in the government gazette, and from that date, from April 24th, 1993, 1 year time was given to all the states for creating the new Panchayati Raj structure as per the provisions of the constitution. So now Panchayati Raj has been provided with the constitutional status. And from 1994 onwards, every state in the country has got the new Panchayati Raj system as per the provisions that are mentioned in the constitution. But some states were given the permission where Panchayat Raj is already existing, they can wait till their term is over. Clear? And for this purpose, every state has been asked to create the State Election Commission, State Finance Commission. So, like this, certain constitutional bodies were also being created. And since that time, very periodically, every 5 years, every state is conducting the elections to the Panchayati Raj, that is the rural local self government bodies. So this is what exactly is happening since the beginning. Clear? So now I'll show you the document. So we'll look into the points, and we'll go for the explanation from those points. So this is the basic idea that I have given. Now I want you to have a look at this. Look at this. So what is the background of the constitutional status of the Panchayati Raj? In January 1957, the government of India appointed Balwantaraj Mehta Committee, and the committee was appointed to examine the working of the Community Development Program and the National Extension Service. A report was submitted in November 1957, meaning the same year. In January, committee was appointed. November, report has been submitted. Recommendations were accepted by the National Development Council in 1958, and Rajasthan became the first state to establish the Panchayati Raj in India on October 2nd, 1959, immediately followed by Andhra Pradesh on November 1st, 1959. So that is the beginning. Next, Balwantaraj Mehta Committee. Look at this. So what are the recommendations here? So B.R. Mehta Committee recommended for the establishment of the three-tier structure Panchayat Raj system. Right, look at this. Village Panchayat at the village level, Panchayat Samiti at the block level, Zilla Parishad at the district level. So this is the structure that was recommended by Balwantaraj Mehta Committee, and accordingly, the recommendations were accepted by NDC, and it was first implemented in Rajasthan. Look at this. The National Development Council said that the basic principles should be identical throughout the country. Basic principles means, so every principle that should be aimed at for the development of the rural areas. Clear? And you can look at this point. So we have already discussed this point. Next, I'm going further. Look at this. The scheme was inaugurated in Rajasthan, okay, and the district was Nagaur district in Rajasthan. Andhra Pradesh became the second state, right? So these points we have discussed. So next is the Ashok Mehta Committee, right? So in December 1977, Janata Party government headed by the Prime Minister Morarji Desai appointed a committee on Panchayat Raj institutions. And the committee was also called Ashok Mehta Committee. And the committee submitted the report in the year 1978, August 1978. To strengthen the Panchayat Raj system, Ashok Mehta Committee has submitted 132 recommendations. Look at this. Very important point. Ashok Mehta Committee recommended that two-tier structure should be established. Balwantrai Mehta, three-tier committee. Ashok Mehta, two-tier committee. Look at this. So what is the structure that is recommended by Ashok Mehta? Zilla Parishad at the district level, Mandal Panchayat at the Mandal level. That's it. But otherwise, the other level, which was recommended by Balwant Rai Mehta committee, that is a village panchayat at the village level, has been ignored by Ashok Mehta committee. Okay, look at this. And another recommendation is that Zilla Parishad must be made responsible for planning at the district level. So meaning entrust Zilla Parishad with the responsibility of making the plans for the development of the districts. There should be on an official level participation of the political parties at all the levels of panchayat elections. Otherwise, during today, if you look at the Panchayati Raj, lots of political parties, rather every political party is interested to contest in the elections because a structure has been created, constitutional status has been created, and very regular funds have been allocated. Funds have been allocated to the this Panchayat Raj system. So now, in order to develop, you have the funds at your disposal. So obviously, everybody is interested to become the part of the Panchayat Raj system. So right, this is the point number one. But during that time, since there were no funds that were allocated specifically for the Panchayati Raj, political parties were not interested to, take part in these elections. That is the reason why Ashok Mehta committee recommended that there should be an official level participation of the political parties. Clear? Next. Next one. Another recommendation that is given by Ashok Mehta is that the Panchayati Raj must have compulsory powers of taxation to mobilize their financial resources. Please read this point once. The Panchayati Raj must have compulsory powers of taxation to mobilize their own financial resources. What is the meaning of this? So this is another fantastic recommendation given by Ashok Mehta committee. Since beginning of this class, I was telling you, without funds, development is not possible. But if I have my own funds, I can design something and I can implement something. But if I have to depend on somebody for these funds, obviously the lower institutions will become very, very weak. In the beginning, I told you, these Panchayat Raj institutions were depending on the funds that are released by the central government and state governments. If they are releasing something, you are performing some functions, otherwise no. But how long you will keep on depending on this? That is the reason why Ashok Mehta committee has given the recommendation that give the powers to the Panchayati Raj so that Panchayati Raj will be imposing the taxes, collecting the taxes and utilizing the taxes for its own development. So meaning is simple, you give the power so for imposing and collecting the taxes so that you will have your own revenue Panchayat Raj system. and that revenue can be utilized for the development. Meaning, apart from the funds that are released by central and state government, let it also have the its own financial mobilization capacity. It was a wonderful recommendation. Of course, though that was not accepted during that time, today our Panchayati Raj system, Panchayati Raj institutions, they have the power to impose the tax and collect the tax. Clear? And what is the tax? That we'll see later. But otherwise, remember, so this is the recommendation that is given by Ashok Mehta Committee. Look at this. It also recommended that there should be a regular social audit by a district level agency and by a committee of legislatures to check whether the funds allotted for the vulnerable social and economic groups are actually spent on them or not. So this is the problem in India since beginning. Every time there is a problem, you are allocating the funds, but whether the funds are being spent for the same purpose or not. So that is the biggest puzzle. And so many times the complaint is that the money is not being spent for their benefits. Money is either getting diverted or the money is not being spent. If the money is not spent, what will happen? That money will not be, that money cannot be spent during the next year because of the concept of rule of lapse. Right. Next, the state governments should not supersede the Panchayat Raj institutions. In case of supersession, elections should be held within 6 months. Kindly remember, I am talking about Ashok Mehta Committee recommendations. Don't dissolve them. If you dissolve them, elections must be conducted within 6 months. Most of the recommendations that are given by the Ashok Mehta Committee, now they are reflecting in the constitution. But please remember, at that time, none of the recommendations were accepted. Next is the G.V.K. Rao Committee. In the year 1985, the Planning Commission appointed a committee on administrative arrangement for rural development and poverty alleviation program. It was headed by G.V.K. Rao, and the committee observed that development process was gradually bureaucratized and divorced from, this Panchayati Raj. According to the G.V.K. Rao committee, this phenomenon weakened the Panchayat Raj institutions and is called grass without roots. If you have the roots, grass will have the strength. But the Panchayati Raj system, whatever you have adopted in India, you have just established a grass, but that grass does not have any roots. If you don't have the roots, what will happen? There will be no strength to the grass. There will be no strength to the Panchayati Raj system. All right. So hope you have, Rajiv Gandhi, very, very frequently during his speeches, he used to say that we need to strengthen the grassroots democracy. That is nothing but he was referring to the Panchayat Raj system. Next. Look at this. L.M. Singhvi Committee. I told you already. 1986, the Prime Minister appointed a committee on revitalization of the Panchayat Raj institutions for democracy and development. And rest of the points I already explained you, that this is the committee that recommended for providing constitutional status to the Panchayati Raj system. Right? So in accordance to that, 64th Amendment Bill was introduced, and what happens to the 64th Amendment Bill, I already told you, right? So later, VP Singh, followed by Chandrasekhar, immediately followed by elections, mid-term elections in the year 1991, and P.V. Narasimha Rao became the Prime Minister. And later, so the government introduced 73rd Constitutional Amendment Bill, It was introduced in the Lok Sabha in the month of September 1991. And the bill was passed in Lok Sabha on December 22nd, 1992 by Rajya Sabha very next day. And the bill was approved by the 17 state assemblies. Why it should go to the states, I told you already. Look at this. A constitutional amendment bill that is related to the federal powers must get the consent of at least half of the states, at least half the states with a simple majority. Special majority at in the parliament and ratification at the state legislatures. How many state legislatures? If it is all, that is well and good. Otherwise, at least half the state legislatures. Then what will happen? It will go to the President of India. Can the President send back the bill for reconsideration? No. Since it is a constitutional amendment bill, President has to accept it. There is no other go. And finally, the bill becomes the law. Next. Look at this. Bill received the assent of the President Shankar Dayal Sharma on April 20th, 1993. This amendment provided the constitutional status to the Panchayati Raj. This became 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act of 1992, and this came into force on April 24th, 1993. Okay. Next. As I told you earlier, though this act was published in the Government Gazette on April 24th, 1993, 1 year time was given to the various states, right? So now, what are the this salient provisions of the 73rd Amendment Act? So through the 73rd Amendment Act, we have added one more schedule. One more schedule. Originally in the Constitution, we had 8 schedules. Ninth schedule was added in the year 1951, right? And 10th schedule was added in the year 1985. And 11th schedule, now it has been added through the 73rd Amendment Act. And 11th schedule consists of the matters that are related to the Panchayati Raj. Am I clear? So that is number one. And kindly see here, when I was discussing with you with respect to certain schedules, I told you we have a schedule called 7th schedule. In the 7th schedule, I have the union list, state list, and concurrent list. What is the meaning of all the three? You already know this. Central list, state list, and the concurrent list. So now you also have another list. That list is called Panchayati Raj list. That Panchayati Raj list that is present in schedule number 11. Right? 7th schedule contains 3 lists. And 11th schedule has got 1 list. So this is the list of the items that are related to the Panchayati Raj. And there are 29 items that are mentioned in the 11th schedule. Meaning, on these 29 items, on these 29 subjects, the Panchayati Raj institutions will have the power to make the laws. Am I clear? So now the Panchayati Raj has been created. You have a body called Panchayati Raj. It has the capacity to make the laws. But what are the subjects? Those subjects are enshrined under schedule number 11. Am I clear? Next. And this particular amendment also made a provision of adding so many articles to the Constitution. Otherwise, here, so you have a part 9 that mentions about the panchayats. So, but originally that part 9 which mentions about the panchayats, so that was nothing was there in that particular article 243. Later, in order to avoid any controversy in future, Through the seventh amendment in the year 1956, that ninth part, the part 9 has been removed from the constitution. And the same part 9 has been restored once again through the 73rd Amendment Act. And so many articles today, if you look at the part 9, it mentions about the panchayat, and there are so many articles that were added. Articles 243A, Articles 243A to Articles 243O, so many articles were added. Meaning 243A, 243B, 243C, like this, many articles have been added. Am I clear? And these each article is mentioning about the various provisions that are related to the Panchayati Raj. Clear? Very, very important one. Part 9 has been added. So many articles were added. A new schedule called schedule number 11 has also been added. And in the 11th schedule, how many items I have? I got 29 items, meaning 29 subjects are mentioned in the Panchayati Raj list. And that is present in the 11th schedule. Okay. Now, let's go further. Look at this. This act added part 9 to the constitution. This act also added new articles from 243A to 243O. Okay. Just now I told you 243A, 243B, 243C, 243D, like this 243O. Okay. Next. The 73rd Amendment Act also added 11th schedule to the Constitution of India. And I want you to remember each and every point very, very clearly and carefully. Okay. These are the general points only for your understanding. Every point you already know. Originally, 8 schedules. 9th schedule, 1951. 10th schedule, 1985. Okay, I'm going further now. The 11th schedule contains 29 items. The state governments are under the constitutional obligation to adopt the new Panchayat Raj system. Previously, there was a negligence with respect to the Panchayati Raj, and now you cannot neglect because it is very much mentioned under the Constitution of India. Clear? So this is the constitutional obligations. For this reason, number one, you need to, establish the Gram Sabha. Today, you go to any village. Today, you go to any village in the country. In every village, you can see Gram Sabha. What do you mean by this? Not exactly in every village. Otherwise, sometimes, what will happen? 2-3 villages put it together. That is also called, Grama Sabha. But what is the meaning of this Grama Sabha, first of all? Grama means, that's a village. Sabha means, this is an assembly. But what is this exactly? Say, for example, you take a village where, where you have, this population, maybe 2000, example. Out of this 2000 population, say, for example, 1300 people. 1300 people are eligible voters. So today, a person who is not less than 18 years of age is eligible to vote in the elections. Clear? So these are called the adult members. So the adult members of the village put together is called the Grama Sabha. What is the total population? Total population is 2000. But out of this 2000 members, only 1300 members are eligible voters, meaning they have the right to vote in the elections. And those eligible voters put together is called Grama Sabha. And obviously, remaining 700 members are the people who are less than 18 years of age. They don't have the right to vote. Hence, they are not the part of the Grama Sabha. Am I clear? Village is different. Village, this Panchayat is different. Grama Sabha is different. The Grama Sabha is different, right? Meaning is simple. In this example, whatever I told you, total population of the village is 2000. Clear? Grama Sabha members 1300. So meaning remaining 700 are less than 18 years of age. Am I clear? Kindly remember this one. So wherever you go, today you can see, this Grama Sabha. So the basic thing is that this Grama Sabha is expected to meet, meaning adult members are expected to meet at least once, this every 6 months, meaning at least two times every year, and the state government may increase that one. So the basic idea is that whatever the developmental plans that are necessary, whatever the money that you are going to spend, and after spending, where exactly it has been spent, whether it was spent correctly or not, that is called social auditing. Everything will be taken care by, this is a Grama Sabha. Meaning you are involving the people at the village level to take part in decision making, and this is called the democratic decentralization. Today that became a reality because of the 73rd amendment. How effectively this is being implemented, that's a different thing that we'll discuss, so during the issues that are related to this Panchayati Raj. Otherwise, here democratic decentralization is very much present, and the constitution makes it very very clear that you have to establish the Grama Sabha. Am I clear? Who are the members? Adult members of the village constitute the Grama Sabha. Please remember this. Hence, village is different, Grama Sabha is different. Right? Grama Sabha is a part of the whole village. Look at this. All the adult members in the village, they constitute the Grama Sabha. This means all the persons registered in the electoral rolls of a village is a Grama Sabha. So this is a village assembly consisting of the registered voters. Look at this. Now, Grama Sabha at the village level functions as determined by the state legislature. Meaning, what are the functions of the Grama Sabha? These functions are decided by the state legislature. Right? So now, if you look at the whole Panchayati Raj system, Constitution says that you need to have three-tier structure Panchayati Raj. Originally, it was recommended by Balwantara Mehta committee, so that was a recommendation given by the committee. But today, under the constitution, the obligation is that in every state you should have the three-tier structure Panchayati Raj: Zilla Parishad, Mandal Panchayat, and the village Panchayat. Clear? But please listen carefully. But in any state where the population is less than, in any state where the population is less than 20 lakhs, if the population is less than 20 lakhs, there they may constitute only two-tier structure, may constitute. Okay, if they want to go for the three-tier structure, that's up to the state legislature. But if they want to constitute the two-tier structure, they are very much permitted. Meaning is simple. So you are trying to create a uniform structure at the in the entire country. Every state must have the three-tier structure, but wherever the population is less than 20 lakhs, so there you can go for the establishment of the two-tier structure of the Panchayati Raj system. Am I clear? Very, 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 very. But that's the reason why you look at any large state. So maybe Rajasthan, maybe Gujarat, maybe Andhra Pradesh. So this maybe Uttar Pradesh, Karnataka, all these states. So you have the three-tier structure. Clear? And if you find two-tier structure anywhere, take it for granted. So in that state, you have the population of less than 20 lakhs. Permission has been given by the constitution, hence very much acceptable. Am I clear? And another condition is that periodical elections must be conducted. Every 5 years, you need to go for the elections. Clear? So this is how the real concept of democracy will come into the picture. So you cannot just keep on dying like this. Every 5 years, you need to conduct the elections, and for this purpose, you have to create a body called State Election Commission. Hence, if you look at every state today, every state has got its own State Election Commission. The responsibility of the State Election Commission is to conduct the elections to the Panchayati Raj. And the same election commission is also conducting elections to the municipalities. Same election commission is also conducting elections to the cooperative societies today. Am I clear? Regarding municipalities, I'll talk to you later in the next class. Regarding cooperative societies, I'll talk to you later. But otherwise, for today's class, you please remember, for the purpose of conducting elections to the Panchayati Raj bodies, state election commission must be, constituted. So hence, in every state, I have a state election commission today. State election commission. Hence, tomorrow, whenever you are reading the question, please read very carefully whether they are using the words election commission or state election commission. If it is only election commission, they are referring to the central election commission. If it is a state election commission, they are referring to the election commission that is created at the state level. Please be very careful while reading the question, so then only you will be going for the this correct answers. Am I clear? Next, look at this. So three-tier structure. This act provides for the establishment of a three-tier Panchayat Raj structure at the state level. So to bring the uniformity throughout the country. Village level, village panchayat; mandal level, mandal panchayat; zilla parishad at the district level. Okay. But a state with a population of not exceeding 20 lakhs may not constitute mandal panchayat, meaning middle level you may not have if the population is less than 20 lakhs. Am I clear? And elections must be conducted. For this purpose, you need to have the state election commission, and periodically, every 5 years, these elections must be conducted. Next. So, with respect to the reservation of the seats, Article 243D provides for the reservation of the seats for SCs and STs. So, as we all know, since beginning, SCs and STs have been provided with the reservations even in the Lok Sabha and also in the assemblies, right? So, in order to empower these sections further, this 73rd Amendment Act also provided the reservation to the SCs and STs at all the three levels. But how much of the reservation? So that is in accordance, that is in proportion to the population. In proportion to the population, reservation has to be, this is provided to the SCs and STs. Am I clear? That is number one. Number two, another important development that took place with respect to 73rd Amendment is that 33% of the reservation has been provided to women. 1/3 seats must be reserved in all the three levels of Panchayati Raj for the women. So for the first time, a massive empowerment of women step has been taken. So that is a wonderful step. That's a wonderful step. So this is a mechanism how exactly you can empower. So giving the power to the women, empower them. So this is the basic idea, and it happened through the 73rd Amendment Act. Am I clear? That is one. Meaning the Constitution has provided the reservation for SCs, STs, and women. Am I clear? Very, very, very important. Next. Then what about the other backward classes? Clear? So with respect to the other backward classes, the decision can be taken by the state legislatures. SCs, STs, and women, it's a compulsion under the Constitution. But with respect to the providing reservation to the backward classes, state legislature can take the decision. And today in every state you have the reservation even for the backward classes also. Am I clear? So very much permitted under the Constitution of India. All right. So now, what about the this in some states you will have you can see 50% of the reservation to women. So over a period of time, what happened? In the beginning, 33% of reservation was there for women. So slowly, so that has gained the moment, and they started demanding for the 50% of the reservation for women in the Panchayati Raj. And obviously, what happened in accordance to that one, in the year 2009, a constitutional amendment bill was introduced for increasing the reservation of 33% to the 50% for women. Right, so that attempt was made, but unfortunately, what happened? Majority of the political parties, though they, this on the stages in the public meetings, they will say that we are interested to increase the reservation from 33 to 50%. But when it comes to the reality in the parliament, so this is not being done. So this is not being done. That is the reason why in majority of the states, even today also, women enjoy 33% of the reservation. But if the state legislature wants to increase the reservation from 33% to further, say 50%, that can be done by the state legislature by passing a bill in the concerned state legislature, and that will be applicable to that particular state only. Either you amend the constitution so that 50% will be reservation will be provided to women across the nation, or the state legislature can permit for increasing the reservation from 33 to 50%. That is the reason why in all the states you cannot see, but if you look at the states like Bihar, Andhra Pradesh, and Telangana, if you look at this one, so these are the states where 50% of the reservation is provided to the women, not because of the constitutional amendment, but it is because of the interest of the concerned state legislatures. And for your kind information, please remember, Bihar is the first state to enhance the reservation for women from 33% to 50%. Clear? Am I clear? And even today also the consultations are going on, where through a constitutional amendment, they wanted to increase 33 to 50%. Clear? Next. SCs, STs, women, reservation is must. Backward classes, reservation can be decided by the state legislatures. Am I clear? Next. Look at this. So when it comes to the term of the panchayats, so this term of each panchayat, this is 5 years. Okay. So when it comes to the qualification, any person who is not less than 21 years of age, 21 please, 21 years of age is permitted to contest in the elections of the panchayats. Am I clear? Disqualification. If a person is disqualified under any law for the time being in force for the purpose of the election to the legislature of the state concerned, if any person who is disqualified for the state legislature, the same provisions are also applicable for a person with respect to this disqualification to the state level. If a person is disqualified under any law that is made by the state legislature, say for example, in India, this there is a policy that is released by the health ministry that unlike China, so we cannot force the people to go for more than 2 children. But it's a policy where by looking at the future situations, so you can make a policy and request the people and appeal to the people not to go for too many children. That is the reason why we have a 2-child norm, but it's not a compulsion. It's not a compulsion. That is the reason why somebody is going beyond this 1 child, second child, third child, like this they are going it. But some of the state legislatures, they have passed resolutions, they have passed a law saying that a person who is with more than 2 children, a person with more than 2 children is not permitted to contest in the elections. I am talking about Panchayati Raj and of course municipalities also. So meaning a person with more than 2 children are not permitted in some states from contesting the elections. So that is a disqualification. That disqualification can be decided by the concerned state legislature. This is not applicable for all the states. Every state has to do it in future. But majority of the states today, so they have gone for this concept where if the number of children are more than this 2, they are disqualified and they cannot contest in elections. And so many people got disqualified because of this. Because at the time of nomination, submitting the nomination paper, they may be saying, these are two members or something, they may be saying. But after the election is over, when the complaint is larger by saying that this person has got three children, four children, during the time, the person is being, disqualified. Like this, especially at the village level, many people, thousands of people got disqualified, across the nation. Right? So this is the disqualification that is decided by the concerned state legislature. Look at this. So what are the powers, authority, and responsibility of the panchayats? Articles 243G, 243H. State legislatures will confer the powers on the panchayats with such powers and authority as may be necessary to enable them to function as the institutions of the self-government. Meaning, what are the functions of the Panchayati Raj? That is decided by the state legislature. Clear? And with regard to the subjects that are mentioned in the 11th schedule of the Indian Constitution, there's the 29 items. 29 items are mentioned in the 11th schedule. But on how many items Panchayati Raj is permitted to make the laws, that is also decided by the state legislature. Okay? Meaning 11th schedule distributes the powers between state legislatures and the panchayats. Clear? Next. Powers of the panchayat to impose taxes and financial resources. Obviously, you need to impose the taxes, collect the taxes, so that you will have your own financial resources. State legislatures may authorize the panchayats to levy, collect, and appropriate taxes, duties, tolls, etc. The state legislature can also assign to a panchayat various taxes, duties, etc. collected by the state government. From the consolidated fund of the state, grants in aid may be given to the panchayats. See here, you have the finance commission, state finance commission at the state level. State finance commission at the state level. You have a central finance commission under article number 280. And in part 9, you have the state finance commission today. What is the function of the central finance commission? Central under article 280. Central Finance Commission will recommend about the division of taxes between central government and the state government. Central Finance Commission also recommends for grants in aid to be given by the central government to the states. Kindly remember, grants means it's not a loan. A loan has to be paid back along with interest. Grant means once they are given, that money can be utilized by the states. Clear? In the similar manner, the State Finance Commission at the state level will also recommend about the division of taxes between state government and the Panchayati Raj. Meaning, whatever the taxes that are collected and appropriated by the states, states are expected to divide that between the state government and the panchayats. Meaning, the panchayats will have the regular allocation of the funds. Plus, depending on the necessity, the State Finance Commission will also recommend for the grants in aid to be provided by the state government to the panchayats. Similar, just like what are all the functions performed by the Central Finance Commission with respect to central government and the state government, similar functions are performed by State Finance Commission with respect to state government and the this Panchayat Raj bodies. That's it. So hence, whatever the state you look at today, you have a State Finance Commission for these functions and Election Commission for conducting the elections. Look at this. The State Finance Commission is constituted by the governor every 5 years for this function, just now I told you. And State Election Commission, Article 243K provides for the constitution of the State Election Commission consisting of a State Election Commissioner, and the State Election Commissioner is appointed by the governor, right? And the functions are to conduct the elections to Panchayati Raj. Look at this. Miscellaneous provisions. The President may direct the provisions of this act shall also apply to any union territory subject to such exceptions and modifications as he specifies. Kindly remember, whatever the act that is being implemented at the state level, President can also implement the same in the union territories. Kindly remember, 73rd Amendment Act is not applicable to the states of Jammu and Kashmir, Meghalaya, Mizoram, and Nagaland. This act is also not applicable to the scheduled areas and the tribal areas. Kindly note, tribal areas are the autonomous districts. This act is also not applicable to the hill areas of the Manipur for which a district council is existing. Tribal councils, district councils are existing. Wherever those are existing, there this act is not applicable. So this is also not applicable to the Darjeeling district of West Bengal, for which we have the Darjeeling Gurkha Hill Council, right? And finally, so these are the list of the items that are present in the 11th schedule. This is a big list, 29 items. Agriculture, including agricultural extension like this. So I have this various things, and everything is uploaded in the site, and this you can read from the text. And I have some miscellaneous points. Please make a note of this. Maharashtra is the first state in the country to provide 33% of the reservation to women in the local bodies. It happened in early 1990s. Okay, so meaning before it became the constitutional body. So this was done by Maharashtra, right? But with respect to 50%. Look at this. Bihar is the first state to provide 50% of the reservation for women in the local bodies. Okay, so Panchayati Raj is always a very, very, very important topic for various types of examinations. Maybe it is objective or descriptive. This topic is very, very important. All right, so next time we'll see, the issues, the various issues that are related to the Panchayati Raj. Okay, so I'll stop at this stage, and thank you so much for being with me, and I wish you all a very, very good luck. Thank you.